Welcome to the 30 and Nerdy Podcast, brought to you by Advertising Expressions, Creative Theater, Akita Express, and Encore Theatrical Company. Visit us online at 30andnerdypodcast.com. Drop us an email at 30andnerdypod@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Become a patron of the show at patreon.com/30nerdypodcast. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the show. And now, sit back, relax, and get ready to nerd out with your hosts, Josh Davis and Tyler McDaniel.
What's up, everybody? It's Josh here. I just wanted to give you a quick update on this week's episode. This is our live episode from Market Square at the Lit Up Knoxville Festival. We had a great time. We had a great show. Our topic this week was villains, and we listed our top 25 favorite villains from pop culture. Now, unfortunately for you, if you weren't there, you're not going to get to hear all 25. We had some technical difficulties, and the recording cut out the first two that we named. We mentioned number 25, which was HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey, and 24 was Norman Bates. So it picks right up at 23, and then you'll get to hear the rest of it after that. Also, don't forget, next month is MarbleCity ComiCon. It's November 16th and the 17th. You definitely want to be there because we will be there, and wherever we are, that's the place to be. It's going to be great, so make sure that you are making plans to be there. Hey, speaking of villains, we had our first ever episode of the show blocked after it got released.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Apparently we had some stuff on there that shouldn't have been on there, so we fixed it. So look for a re-release of episode 24 on the Joker coming very soon. Now, when we talked about the Joker, we did not do any spoilers on the new Joaquin Phoenix Joker, so it's safe to listen to it if you haven't seen that yet. We will do a more detailed discussion on the Joaquin Phoenix Joker in a few short weeks, so we give everybody a little bit of time to catch up on that. Next week, guys, you don't want to miss it. We're going to be talking about zombies. It's going to be great. I think the plan is we're going to check out the new Zombieland movie, the sequel. We're going to talk about that. And there's also going to be all sorts of other exciting things that we're going to talk about next week, not involving zombies. You don't want to miss it. I won't tell you now, but it's going to be great. Lots of exciting stuff. So make sure that you check us out next week. Until then, if you haven't subscribe to us anywhere where you listen to your podcast, and make sure that you leave us a review. And now a quick word from our sponsors.
This is Magenta from Encore Theatrical's Rocky Horror Show.
And this is Columbia. You're listening to our favorite nerds, Josh and Tyler.
I love Josh!
Well, I love Tyler.
But I love Tyler.
Then I love Josh.
Relax. They're nerdy, you're nerdy, I'm nerdy, we're all nerdy!
You're invited to Frank's Laboratory. Most people would give their right arm for the privilege.
Performances are October 18th and 19th at Rose Center in Morristown, Tennessee.
You can go to etcplays.org for ticket information.
So join us for the night. And maybe a bite. And dance with us as we take that step to the right.
Hey, all you nerds out there in Nerdland, this is David.
And this is Tim.
And we're from Johnny Has the Keys podcast, a podcast where horror and sci-fi shape our lives.
You're listening to Josh and Tyler of the 30 and Nerdy podcast, where they discuss, debate, and break it down with nerd culture and the nerds that reside there. If you like listening to these guys, consider coming over to the dark side with us on your favorite podcast platform of choice.
Cheers to you, nerds, and don't forget your keys.
What's up, nerds and nerdettes? This is the podcast where everyone knows your name. Cheers to ya.
I'm Tyler.
Nope. You're Josh. I'm Tyler.
Sorry, I'm nervous. I'm Josh.
Gotcha. It's easy to be nervous. I mean, we got a live audience. It's usually just us in a nerdy little basement with a couple of cats running around. So this is a little different than normal.
Big change here.
But we are very happy to be here live in Market Square in Knoxville, Tennessee. Woo! You all can get loud. I mean, it's okay to cheer and get excited. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to believe it's a live audience. So like he said, he's Josh, I'm Tyler. We are two 30-year-old nerds. We've been best friends for over 10 years. And
10 long years.
2 long years. And we just sit around talking nerdy stuff all the time, and we figured it was given a suggestion to us that we might as well start a podcast. Surely there's other nerds around the world who want to hear. And shockingly, there were.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of people latch onto this show, and we could not be more thankful of Candace for asking us to come down and do this.
Yeah, thanks, Candace.
Yes, thank you, Candy. So today's show, we thought, with it being October, we would talk about some of the best villains in the history of nerd culture.
Right, so we compiled a list of the 25, in our opinion, 25 top villains in the history of pop culture. I gotta tell you, this was not an easy task, because after we made the list, we're thinking, oh, we left out this person and that person, and so this could be very controversial if you're a mega nerd like us.
And you know what? If you have a problem, you can email us and let us know your top 25.
You can come take one of our business cards, and then you can email us after you follow us on all the social media things and whatnot.
And subscribe to us on iTunes,
you can also have
Google Play, all that fun stuff. So, also, we got a couple of other segments that we like to do on the show here. For instance, every week I create a nerd word. And this past couple of episodes, I've talked about the Order of Nerds, or Nerdarchy, if you will. And today we're going to talk about Level 2, The Apprentice.
We also like to share some of the big news items in the world today. We call it the Nerd News.
Yes.
So we'll share a couple of little interesting tidbits about what's going on in the nerdy world today with you.
We are very excited. And then we will, of course, break it down on our list of villains. So, shall we get started?
All right, I think that means that it's time for Tyler to talk nerdy to us.
All right, talk nerdy. So, like I said, I've been talking about the Nerdarchy for the past couple of episodes, and that's kind of the order of nerd. The first level was recruit, kind of just the so-and-so friends or the sibling or the boyfriend or girlfriend you might bring along with you. The tag-along to a nerdy movie. This is the apprentice. An apprentice is still yet to scratch the surface of the nerd culture. They may have one favorite character that they have latched onto, or maybe even a specific nerddom, or franchise, if you will, like Star Wars. However, they haven't truly grasped multiple nerddoms, or even an entire franchise just yet. For example, I do have a friend at work who really likes Hal Jordan's Green Lantern. But if you were to ask him about the rest of the Green Lantern Corps or any of the other DC heroes, he couldn't tell you a bit about them because he's only picked one thing to really nerd onto, and that is an apprentice for you. Just level 2.
Not very high up there.
Not high up there. Not as high as
go.
we are on the level of nerd. So, shall we move on to the news?
It's time for the Nerd News.
All right.
All right, what do we got today, my man?
So, have you, apparently October is the month of bashing Marvel.
I can't imagine why.
I can't either. But not just Martin Scorsese, but Jennifer Aniston has been putting the hate.
What?
Yes, Jennifer
Why?
Aniston, Rachel from Friends.
What does she have to say about
and all of that other quality cinema that she's been a part of.
She's not busy making Vino commercials? Or?
No, she's not been just doing that, or Adam Sandler movies, or a movie with Jim Carrey. She has been doing apparently quality cinema enough to bash Marvel.
You mean so Marvel, who has the #1 movie of all time in Avengers Endgame?
Yes. Rachel from Friends has decided to bash Marvel.
Well, I have nothing nice to say about her then.
Okay, well, this is a PG show, so we're going to keep moving on then. So, did you see one of the most recent Sesame Street episodes?
Yeah, so there's a new character on Sesame Street, and we watched the clip on the way here. There's a new character. She's friends with Elmo. And this character, she is dealing with a very serious issue. She has parents who are, it's sort of, we're meant to infer that the parents have an opioid addiction problem. So it's handled in a very tasteful way. We watched it. It felt like I got kicked in the gut. I was about to cry watching it. They sing a little song. She talked about how she felt like she didn't have a place in the world. And, you know, Sesame Street is so good about making people feel good and, you know, showing kids how to treat people and everything. So I thought it was a really good move and very well done.
I think it was done well and not on the nose enough to spark too much controversy, but also tackle
you can't
a problem
come out and say
that we have.
Oh, my mom has an opioid addiction on a children's show. So, but the way that they did it, it worked out very, very well. And I recommend that everybody check it out.
Yes. So the last piece of news we got here is some more Marvel news. Latest on the Sony versus Disney battle.
So everybody knows about what's been going on with Disney versus Sony. They've been fighting over the rights to Spider-Man. It was a little touch and go for a while. We were sort of led to believe that we would. I was very scared. We were sort of led to believe that we wouldn't get any more Spider-Man in the MCU, and that makes me say, because he's one of the best characters in the franchise. So I really feel like something would be missing big time. So they worked it out, it seems like.
Yes,
but there's more.
For a third Spider-Man movie and a couple of others, but there's more news that Marvel and Disney have been talking about purchasing the character of Spider-Man to bring him permanently back into the MCU.
I think it's a great idea.
It is a great idea, but some prices that have been thrown around are $5 to $6 billion for a character.
So my thought on that is, one, Disney can definitely afford it.
Yeah.
And if Sony kept Spider-Man and they did some movies, they're never going to make that much money off of it. There's no way that they could top that. So I think the better deal for them would be to go ahead and just sell the rights. I mean, that's just
absolutely.
Me. But I'm also a Disney guy. So
you are a Disney guy.
But Disney probably can make that money back.
Shall we move on?
All right, number 23, Professor M. Professor James Moriarty is a fictional character in some of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes novels. Moriarty is a Machiavellian criminal mastermind whom Holmes even describes as the Napoleon of crime. That's pretty good. He first appeared in The Final Problem, published in 1893, and quickly became the arch nemesis of Sherlock Holmes. Do you remember the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes? Yeah. Okay, so we never got to see him in that.
Get to see it. They're doing a third one.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see him then. I don't know. So. It sort of adds to the mystery surrounding him. It makes him a little more scary.
I like mystery.
A little more of a villain.
Yeah. I'll read the next one.
All right, 22.
Number 22, The Goblin King. Created by Jim Henson, Jareth is a fictional character and the main antagonist in the 1986 fantasy film The Labyrinth. Portrayed by David Bowie, Jareth is the powerful ruler of an otherworldly maze. He grants Sarah's wish and abducts her little brother Toby when she says the famous line, Goblin King, wherever you may be, take this child of mine far away from me. He is also in the spin-off adaptations like the Marvel comic books, graphic novels, and computer games. Did you know that Marvel had the rights?
That's what I was about to say. I had no idea that there was any sort of Marvel connection to this universe at all, to The Labyrinth.
So
that's interesting.
Knowing that it's in Marvel's franchise, it'll be rebooted anytime soon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure lots of people will want to see it.
All right, moving forward to a little bit more known modern villain. Number 21, the Night King. The Night King is one of the newer villains in pop culture, but definitely makes his way to the list with an icy impact. He is a fictional character appearing in HBO's hit television show, Game of Thrones.
It was a hit until the last season, though.
Yes, that last season was rough. Based on George R.R. Martin's novel, series of Ice and Fire, however, the Night King is an original creation. for the television adaptation only, and thus far have no counterpart in the novels. He is depicted as the leader of the first of the White Walkers, having existed since the age of the first men, and is the most dangerous of his race.
Wow. So I've read some of the books, and
Yes.
I had no idea that the Night King wasn't a part of the book.
Yes.
Wow.
Hence,
See,
that's what
you just
the
taught me
internet
something
tells
there.
us. And you know what Abe Lincoln says?
The internet is always
The
right.
internet is
Abe
always
Lincoln
right.
did say that. All right, so next we have number 20, and I have a little clue here. As a kid, hearing this always made me so nervous. I knew, like, things are about to go down. So,
yes.
number 20 is Bowser, or most notably known as King Koopa. He's a fictional character and main nemesis to Mario in the Nintendo franchise. In Japan, the character bears the name Daimyo, meaning Great Demon King. Bowser is the leader of the Turtle-like Koopa race, and has been the archenemy of Mario since his first appearance in the 1995 video game Super Mario Bros.
He's kind of grown to be loving. He's in Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers. He's not really the big villain that he used to be now.
I mean, he's still a pretty bad
He's
dude.
still a
though.
bad dude, sure, but
Just because they make him goofy and, like, you know,
Yeah.
comical,
Mario
takes
Party.
away from. I don't know. I was always scared of him. Like in Mario 64, when you had to swing
tail
it,
and
you know,
spin
grab him by
around.
the tail and
Yeah,
swing him
yeah,
around. That
yeah.
always made my anxiety flare up.
shall I continue?
Let's.
It doesn't take much to make your anxiety flare.
That's true too.
All right, shall I continue?
Let's go.
Shredder. Number 19, Shredder. Sadly, though, when researching Shredder on the internet, you will be prompted to buy a paper shredder. This classic TV and movie villain from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles does belong on this list and was even on IGN's 2009 Top 50 Comic Book Villains, falling in at number 39. But is gone almost forgotten in this era of nerddom. He is a fictional character created in 1984 to serve as the main nemesis for Master Splinter and his group of heroes in a half shell.
So for like 80s and 90s kids, Shredder's probably
Shredder was
higher up
terrifying.
on the list.
Yeah.
than 19.
When I was a kid, Shredder scared me, especially in those live action versions.
For sure.
Terrified me.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely terrified me.
Okay, number 18. This is a favorite of mine. Sauron. Sauron is the main villain in J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. The Dark Lord of Mordor has been voiced by more than 7 different people over the course of film and video games. But the motion cap suit to play the physical embodiment of Sauron was worn by none other than Doctor Strange himself, Benedict Cumberbatch. What? Where did you find this information?
The internet.
Hang on.
That's J.R.R. Tolkien's stuff. Right?
What? Benedict Cumberbatch played Sauron?
Actually,
Are you kidding me? Explain yourself.
One of the bonus features of, you remember the Two Towers games you could unlock?
Yes.
Different little things. On one of those bonus features is them talking, and Benedict's in the mocap suit.
No
Yeah.
way. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. I have
Crazy.
lots of things to look up after this. Okay, so however, most people know this character as the Great Eye in the Lord of the Rings movie trilogy. If you can get a flaming eyeball over as a villain and something
You can
that's
make anything
scary and intimidating, you can do just about anything.
Yes.
Imagine the contacts he has to wear.
Oh, my turn, is it?
Yes.
Number 17, Megatron. Megatron is a fictional character in the Transformers franchise created by Hasbro in 1984, based on a design by Japanese toy company Takara. He is the leader of the villainous group, the Decepticons. They are sentient, self-configuring, modular, extraterrestrial, robotic life forms from the planet Cybertron. He is the nemesis of the Autobot leader, Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Now, Megatron in the movies is voiced by a Lord of the Rings character.
Hugo Weaving.
Yes, Lord
That's right.
Elrond. Now,
Hugo Weaving is a great villain.
He really is.
And he makes this list twice.
Yes, he does.
We'll get to
Yes,
that.
yes, yes. However, shall we move on to number 16? We're
Okay.
going to give a hint, and maybe this will prompt him to show up.
This
I
is
hope.
this is sort of a cheap plug here. Let's just see what happens. Maybe he'll show up. Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor, are you
Mr.
here?
Mayor?
No?
No?
That's right. You might know him as the mayor here in town. It's Kane. If you're a 90s kid like us and you were a Big pop
Wrestling
culture
fan.
nerd, especially wrestling. There was nobody scarier than Kane.
No
and
way.
we had to include him on this list because this is his house. And plus we thought he might be here, and we were scared of what would happen if we did
left
this
him
and
off the
he
list.
wasn't on the list. I didn't want to choke slam today. So, Kane debuted in the WWF in 1997 as the younger half-brother of The Undertaker. Kane has held almost every title that WWE has to offer and is an icon in the Royal Rumble match. His signature chokeslam became popular all around the world for older brothers to do to younger siblings in pools and on trampolines. Now Kane is playing a new character, Knox County's very own mayor, Glenn Jacobs. Yes.
Mayor Kane.
Love the mayor.
Actually, we went to Raw when they were here in Knoxville.
Yeah, about 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah, and Kane actually won a title as Mayor Jacobs
In Neyland Stadium.
It was really cool.
Wow.
It was
Probably
really
the first time that a title has ever been exchanged in Neyland
It's
Stadium.
one of the
when you
few
say-
times anything's been won in Neyland recently.
Oh!
So, moving on.
This one scares me.
Freddy Krueger. It's probably one of my favorite villains. Freddy is a fictional character created by Wes Craven. He first appeared in The Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984. Freddy is a serial killer murdered by a mob of angry parents. As revenge, he now haunts and kills you in your dreams, causing you to die in real life. Freddy Krueger immortalized Robert Englund as an actor and cursed anyone else who tried to play Freddy. Which, did you see the reboot? You probably
Yeah.
haven't seen the original.
I have. Because the scene with Johnny Depp in the first one, he's getting thrown all around
Yeah.
the ceiling or whatever.
Yeah.
That scared the daylights out of me. I was going to ask you that it was the guy that played Rorschach in Watchmen.
Watchmen.
He tried to.
Jackie Earl Haley?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy. And it
That
didn't
guy.
quite work, did it?
He looked like a turtle. Like a burnt turtle.
A
what he looked like.
A turtle? I hadn't thought of
Looked
that.
like a burnt turtle.
All right. Okay, so number 14. I think it would have been cooler if he was 13, but
Yeah.
here's
It
a
would
hint
have.
for you. That's right. It's Michael Myers. Myers is a fictional character first introduced in John Carpenter's Halloween in 1978. The character was created by Deborah Hill and John Carpenter and has appeared in over 10 films, as well as novels, multiple video games, and several comic books. Nicknamed The Shape, the body in the suit has been played by 13 different people. One of those being Dick Warlock, who Tyler here met when he was doing a theater event in Pigeon Forge.
Yeah, he was in the audience. And
Yeah?
he came up and talked to us cast afterwards. And he introduced himself, and I was the only person in the cast who knew who he was.
Oh,
Everyone else was like, oh, hey, cool, thanks for coming. I was like, do you guys not realize who this guy is? He was the Shape in Michael Myers. He played Michael Myers in the second. He was the Shape in the second film. He was a really cool guy. He's actually shorter than me.
It says here 10 films. It feels like
Yes.
50. There's been
That's
so
right.
many. And they're like coming out with another one, aren't they?
Yes.
Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back for
It's
that.
actually a direct sequel to the first one.
Yeah, because
So
the
they're trying to
timeline
make
has
you-
been...
They're trying to make you ignore all the terrible spin-offs and sequels that they
We will
made.
never forget, though.
My turn?
Your turn.
Ooh, I like this one, I like this one a lot. Hannibal Lecter. Dr. Lecter was first introduced in the 1981 thriller novel Red Dragon, created by Thomas Harris. Though the character has been played by many different people, he's most notably played by Anthony Hopkins in his Academy Award-winning performance in Silence of the Lambs. Though he went on to appear as Hannibal the Cannibal in the next two sequels, nothing is quite quotable like his Academy Award-winning performance in Silence of the Lambs.
Hello, Clarice. What did he say about eating somebody's liver or
He
something?
says, I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
A villain for sure.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right.
Your turn.
Number 12. Love this one. Agent Smith is the primary villain in the Matrix franchise and was played by Hugo Weaving. So I told you he'd come back.
Yep.
Smith manifests his physical form by inhabiting and overriding the simulated body of a human wired into the Matrix. By moving from body to body, he can reform himself if he is killed, which only kills the host body, and appear virtually anywhere. He can overcome the limitations of gravity in the human body, giving him speed and strength sufficient to dodge bullets flawlessly, punch through concrete with his bare hands, and jump impossible distances. I remember, was it in the third Matrix when there was like the entire army of Agent Smiths and it was raining and everything? That was such a cool scene. I love that.
You think he'll come back in the fourth one?
I think he should.
Did you know they're
is
making,
it a fourth one or is it a reboot?
It's a fourth.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I have a little clue for this one as well. You ready for this? This music is so cool. Tell us about it.
The Mind Flayer. Also known as the Shadow Monster. He was first introduced in the second season of Netflix original series Stranger Things. The Mind Flayer is a massively powerful being of unknown origin. He wields supreme control of the Upside Down as well as the Demogorgons, Tendrils, and the Flayed with murderous intent. He repeatedly attempts to corrupt both Hawkins and the wider world. He's almost more terrifying than a lot of these on the list because he is a shadow.
Well, in season 3, it was even worse because he had the collected goo from all the all the people that he hypnotized or whatever.
Flayed.
Yeah. So that was really.
I'm excited to see what they do in season 4.
So he's not dead, right?
No.
Wait, spoiler alert for season 3 of Stranger Things.
We can't spoil because I'm sure out of this statistic, people have not seen the third season. So,
okay, so we won't say anything else about season 3 then. But Mind Flayer is awesome, and he's super scary.
Now you should move on.
All right, number 10. I don't even know if I should say the name of this one, so I'll just read it like this. A villain so evil that people fear to speak his name. You know who was the primary antagonist in the beloved Harry Potter franchise. He loves no one and is loyal only to himself. And of course, I'm talking about Voldemort. Voldemort. Okay, I said it. Okay, so did you know that the T in Voldemort is meant to be silent? Nobody follows that rule, though. J.K. Rowling is the only one who does that.
So it's supposed to be Voldemort.
Voldemort.
Voldemort what? Voldemort this water. That's what I take.
Good idea.
All
What's
right.
your turn?
My turn. Number 9, The Terminator. We first Arnold Schwarzenegger as the gun-toting cyborg in 1984's The Terminator. Although future versions of the character he's more of a hero in the franchise. He started out as a formidable assassin with the goal of exterminating the human resistance. He gives us another iconic catchphrase in pop culture, I'll be back.
Did you see, were we together when they showed the preview for that? Was it before Joker? Yeah. So the preview for the new one, Sarah Connor says it instead. She's like,
the
okay,
original
I'll be
Sarah
back.
Connor's back in the movie.
Yeah.
From the first and
it looks
second
good.
movie.
It looks really good.
And she just walks away and she's like, I'll be back. Doesn't give it the same power as his, but whatever.
Yeah, but it was funny though. I liked it. All right, next one. Count Dracula, the title character in Bram Stoker's 1897 Gothic horror novel Dracula. He is known as the prototypical and archetypal vampire in subsequent works of fiction. Some aspects of the character are believed to have been inspired by Prince Vlad the Impaler, who was also known as Dracula, and Sir Henry Irving, an actor for whom Stoker was a personal assistant. We also know him for his spooktacular breakfast cereal.
It was bad.
Somebody liked it back then. Thank you, whoever you were. Appreciate it. They were probably laughing at something else, but I'm going to take it.
So, did you see the Gary Oldman Dracula?
I did.
It was brilliant. Brilliant. So I get this one even though...
This is a good one.
This one's a good one.
I know. All right. Here's a hint.
In time, you will know what it's like to lose. Feel so desperately that you're right, that to fail all the same.
Thanos. Thanos first appeared in the Invincible Iron Man number 55 in 1973.
Did you know that? Did you know that he first debuted in an Iron Man comic? Because I did not.
No, I didn't read a lot of Marvel. I'm the DC guy.
Yeah. I forgot.
Yeah. He is one of the most powerful villains in the Marvel Universe. We, of course, know him from ending trillions of lives with just a snap of his finger in Avengers Infinity War.
And sort of created a tradition here on the podcast.
Yeah.
When we end the show, we snap our fingers just like that. So thank you for that, Thanos.
Yeah. Thanks, Thanos.
Yeah, but, I kind of feel bad for Thanos. In his mind...
feel bad
in
for
his,
him?
well, and, to him, he felt like he was doing the right thing.
Every villain's the hero of his own story.
I'm just saying, he had good reasons for what he did. He was able to back it up.
That's why you're the bad guy of this show. Good reasons. Good Lord, man.
Just think about it.
Just move on, okay?
Is this me too? All right. Okay, so this is a good one. Emperor Palpatine, the Dark Lord of the Sith, was ubiquitous throughout the original Star Wars trilogy, but we didn't really get to know him until 1983's Return of the Jedi. Since then, the Emperor quickly became a symbol of evil in pop culture. Did you know that the Emperor was first played by a woman? Actress Marjorie Eaton played the villain in the original appearance of the Emperor in Empire Strikes Back, and her eyes were superimposed with chimpanzee eyes.
I did not know.
Yeah. And then, of course, that's gone now because George Lucas changed it for a third or fourth time. So it's hard to find that scene now.
Wow.
They replaced it with Ian McDiarmid, the true
coming
Emperor.
back, apparently, in Rise of Skywalker.
Interesting.
Be cool to see how they bring the Emperor back.
You're listening to the 30 and Nerdy podcast with Josh Davis and Tyler McDaniel.
Wait, where are you going?
I'll be back.
I'm so glad that you finally showed up with our dinner because I am starving. What did you bring me?
Well, I brought Akita again.
Of course.
Because it's our favorite place to
I can't be mad at that.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you order this time?
Every time I say I'm going to try something new, I always show back up with my regular chicken teriyaki.
I understand.
White rice. No vegetables. No vegetables, I know. Could have had a V8. And it's my favorite, man.
And it looks like you brought me my favorite, which is the shrimp and chicken combo. No broccoli, extra mushrooms with extra shrimp sauce. Best shrimp sauce in town.
In the state.
For sure.
I'm telling you, there is no comparison on this shrimp sauce. And we are going to try not to mutter through this episode while eating at the same time. We don't want, that's just unprofessional.
Right.
So, listen, we love this food. It's Akita Express. It's right here in Morristown, Tennessee. We highly recommend this place. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I've never heard an unkind word about Akita. So please give them a try. They are right here in Morristown, Tennessee at 3100 East Morse Boulevard. And please, when you stop by, tell them 30 and Nerdy sent you.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
So, number 5.
Top 5 now.
Scar. The primary antagonist in Disney's The Lion King in 1994. He is known and hated for killing Mufasa. He is loosely based on King Claudius from Shakespeare's Hamlet. Did you know that?
I did know that because when I teach Shakespeare in my classroom, to get them kind of interested in Shakespeare and give them something to be excited about, I talk about how there's so many connections to Shakespeare and the things that they know and love, especially The Lion King. So I sort of sum up the story like, there's a prince and his father dies and his uncle framed him and all this. And they're like, The Lion King. I'm like, no. Hamlet. Yeah. Tricked them.
Yeah. So, you got a hint for number 4?
I got a hint for number 4. One of the first nightmares that I ever remember having was the Wicked Witch reaching through the TV and grabbing me and pulling me into Oz, into the castle. So I was not fond of her. The Wicked Witch was first seen in L. Frank Baum's novel The Wonderful Wizard of Oz in the year 1900. A long time ago. She was then portrayed by actress Margaret Hamilton in the 1939 classic film based on the novel. The character has been adapted into dozens of other shows, books, movies, musicals. She has one of the most iconic lines in cinema history.
I'll get
And your little dog, too. All right.
So we've done The Wizard of Oz as a show twice together.
Yeah.
And still, no matter who, if I'm watching the movie or when we were on stage doing it, the Wicked Witch scares the living daylights out of me. Because you have to go to a certain place to play that part.
That was a cool trick that guy just did on that skateboard. Hey, good job, buddy.
Ooh, on X Games.
I'd break my neck if I tried to do that. Oh, close.
All right, so moving on.
Oh,
you got a hint. Let's get a
This
hint.
is a good one. Top 3. We gotta really kick it up here. Ooh, the suspense.
Still the reason I don't swim. You know
Yeah, that's
I don't
what
even
it
swim
says.
in my pool because I'm afraid a shark's gonna get me. Jaws, first seen in 1974, novel by Peter Benchley, but made famous in Steven Spielberg's 1977 thriller film with the same name. This giant man-eating great white shark has caused anxiety in young swimmers for decades. The score from Jaws, composed by John Williams, is ranked as the 6th greatest score by the American Film Institute, and it only consists of 2 notes.
Yeah, it's E and F or F and F sharp, I believe.
Yeah.
2 notes wins you an award like that. That's pretty cool. So
I should be able to win an award.
I was just thinking about this just now. John Williams has contributed so much to like pop culture because of his music and everything. Is he knighted yet? Like, is he Sir John Williams? Does anybody know? Is John Williams knighted? Do you know? Anybody know?
Anyone? No? Ask Google.
I'm gonna have to look that up later because he should be, right? I mean,
yeah, I think so. So moving on to now, if you look up in other lists, these top 2 villains are alternating constantly, and I kind of won the argument. I let
you win the argument.
I won this battle in making 2 and 1 in the order that
I let you
So
win.
if you disagree, then contact us at 30andnerdypod@gmail.com, and you can give us your top 25, or at least your top 2. So give them a hint for number 2.
That's right. If that doesn't make you uneasy, I don't know what will. He first appeared in 1977 as the primary antagonist in Star Wars, also known as A New Hope to us younger nerds. He is easily one of the most iconic characters in the history of pop culture and is known for his mechanical breathing, which, did you know, his breathing was created using recordings of a scuba breathing apparatus that divers would use. And, another fun fact, and I've seen this one before, did you know that there is a Vader gargoyle, it's just his helmet, but sculpted into the Washington National Cathedral in D.C.?
I did not know.
Yeah, I was there, and someone told me about it, and I went to look for it. It's really hard to see. It's like up on a corner somewhere, but it's there. So
Still
go Vader.
making an impact.
Forever.
So that's number 2. Can anyone guess what number 1 is?
The Joker.
Wow.
The Joker.
A little movie you might have heard of that just came out recently called Joker.
Yes. First appeared in the debut issue of the Batman comic on April 25th, 1940. There are over 250 productions featuring the Joker as a subject, including films, television series, books, and video games. Most recently portrayed by Joaquin Phoenix as the Clown Prince of Crime in the first ever solo Joker movie entitled Joker, which is still going strong in theaters as we
Show of hands, how many people who are listening and in the sound of my voice, how many people have seen Joker with Joaquin Phoenix?
Thoughts?
Good? Thumbs up?
Yeah.
Thumbs up? Yeah?
That's
Okay.
good.
I've heard
Good.
very, very little negative about it.
Yeah. Well, we saw it opening night, and it was impactful. That's what I'll say. Impactful, thought-provoking, and I hope that DC moves forward making these solid films.
Yeah.
But he's my favorite villain of all time. If you did let me, I'm glad you let me win.
I let you. I didn't even.
I think he's the most iconic. But if you have a list, you can contact us. We will post people's lists on our social media. If you have a different top 25 or top 10, or if you think that we forgot somebody who should have been ranked. But we have some honorable mentions, don't we?
Oh, we do have honorable mentions. I totally forgot about that.
Now,
okay.
Again, this was very difficult. It was sleepless nights trying to compile this list because we felt unfair to some of the best villains.
The struggle was
in
real
pop
in this.
culture. So why don't we talk about some of our honorable mentions?
We're running out of time, so we're gonna just kind of name them quickly. Like I'll read a few, and then I'll stop, and then you take over. How's that?
Okay.
All right. So honorable mentions: the Sanderson sisters, especially this time of year. Everybody loves to watch Hocus Pocus. Lex Luthor, Snidely Whiplash from Dudley Do Right.
Snidely Whiplash.
He has the He looks like the stereotypical villain. He has the mustache and the hat and the laugh and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Claw, Jabba the Hutt.
Dr. Claus from Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Jabba the Hutt. Loki. Loki. I think Loki could have been on that list. Disney villains.
Yeah.
Now, did you all know that Josh here
Shut
played
up.
Gaston
You are the worst.
in Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah.
He did. It wasn't Broadway, but
It should have
he
been.
did play
It
Gaston
felt like
in
it.
Beauty and the Beast.
It was
So
a Broadway
it's one of-
quality production.
Okay.
What a
So
guy.
it's
What a guy.
one of his favorite villains. Probably your favorite, isn't it?
In the Disney universe, I
In
would
the
say
Disney
so.
universe. Captain Hook. The Shadow. Captain Hook's my favorite Disney villain.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be him at a Halloween party tonight when we get back home. So, the Shadow Man from Princess and the Frog. Hades, Ursula, Maleficent. There are so many Disney villains.
Queen of Hearts we should have named as well.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
shout out to the Queen of Hearts.
Ganon. Anybody play the Legend of Zelda video games? Or
Say
Super
a few
Smash Brothers?
people have, for sure.
Ocarina of Time is still to this day one of the greatest games ever created, I'm telling you. All right, Magneto, your favorite.
I think Doctor Doom should be on there too.
Yeah. Rita Repulsa from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Sheriff of Nottingham from Robin Hood. Hans Gruber from Die Hard. Davy Jones, Biff from Back to the Future, the University of Florida. I mean, come on. There are lists of villains
Go Vols.
that we could talk about for hours. But, alas, we have a short amount of time to discuss this. So, we are very thankful.
Is there anyone we left out just off the top of your head? Villain that you were looking for that we didn't
Anyone you
name?
think that should
Anybody?
belong on the list? Frieza from Dragon.
Godzilla.
Doesn't he also become a friend?
He's kind of a hero too, though. Wouldn't you say?
We said Terminator.
We said Terminator.
Yeah.
Terminator.
So did Terminator.
Explain yourself. Have you not been listening to the whole show?
Yeah, if you said Terminator, Godzilla does belong on it.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're right. All right, I take it back.
You didn't watch it, but I'd say Frieza from Dragon Ball Z belongs on that list.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not an anime guy. I missed out on all that stuff.
It's whatever. It's fine.
All right.
You're the brains, so okay.
I think that's really
This has
all
been fun.
we have
Thank
time
you
for.
all for
Thank you so
coming.
much.
Thank you for supporting this festival that Candace invited us to.
Subscribe to the show, people.
Subscribe to the show, please.
It's totally
iTunes.
free, and if you don't like it, you get double your money back.
Yes, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you listen to a podcast, that's where we're at. And we hope that you'll follow us. Come up. We've got cards. We've got stickers. We'd love to talk to y'all out here in the audience. And I guess that's it for the day, brother.
All right, so I guess it's time for us to snap the old fingers. I gotta find my music here. Sorry, I feel like I'm such a professional right now. All right, we will catch you nerds later.
You've been listening to the 30 and Nerdy Podcast with your hosts, Tyler McDaniel and Josh Davis. Brought to you by Encore Theatrical Company, Akita Express, Creative Theater, and Advertising Expressions. Find us, follow us, and like us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Visit our website, 30andnerdypodcast.com. Got something to tell us? Drop us an email, 30andnerdypod@gmail.com. Until next time, cheers to you, nerds!